Hello, my invisible lights. This is the UFC 100 kind of recap. That was badass, man. I love that. This was probably the third UFC pay per view I've ever ordered, and I'm glad that I did because it kicked ass. Of course, they didn't show the preliminary fights. I really wish they would have shown Mark Coleman versus Stephen Bonner. From my understanding, Mark Coleman won, I think, by decision. I'm not really sure. But on with the actual fights that were aired on TV. I didn't know either one of these guys. Yoshihiro Akiyama and Alan Belcher. There we go, Belcher. Uh, Belcher kicked Yoshihiro right square in the balls. When he was going for an inside leg kick, he kicked him right in the balls. You see his junk land up, man, he just doubled over. He was on the ground for a little bit. Yoshihiro, I believe, won it by split decision, I think. It was either split or unanimous, I don't remember. But right after that happened, Joe Rogan was like, man, Belchler was robbed. I don't really think it was because Yoshihiro won the first round. Second round was Belcher. And the third one, that one was kind of back and forth. That one would be kind of hard to call. I don't know. I don't think he was robbed. But it was a really good fight. John Finch versus Paul Tiago. I'm not a big fan of either one of them. So I wasn't really that interested in this fight. And Paul Fitch, I got a text message. Paul Fitch was really good in this fight. He had Paul Tiago's back there for a little bit. This was pretty neat. He had his back there for a little bit. And he had him choking out. And all of a sudden, he just dropped back. All of his weight on him. It was pretty cool. John Fitch, I believe, won that one by decision. Next one, well, actually, that one was the very last fight, but I'm going in order, which I see him right here as. Dan Henderson versus Michael Bisping. That one was kick-ass. What made it good was all the trash talk that Michael Bisping was doing. He was running his mouth. Dan Henderson, the only thing he really did to him was just call him a douche, which was pretty much true. And it wasn't the most exciting fight, but it was fucking awesome what Henderson did. Michael Bisping kept circling to his right, and as most people know, Dan Henderson likes to, just like Chuck Liddell, explode that big right hand. And Dan Henderson caught him right as soon as he stepped, bow, dropped him, hit him right on the jaw. He stiffened up, fell back, and Dan Henderson, even after the fight, he said, the knockout was just to shut him up. What was extra was to make sure he kept his mouth closed or something like that, and he just tomahawked him straight down right afterwards. That was a good fight. Dan Henderson by KO. Next one was GSP versus Thiago Alves. I was really hoping Thiago Alves would win, but GSP and Thiago took it to the distance, all 5 rounds, and GSP won. I believe it was by unanimous decision. It wasn't that bad of a fight. It was mainly down on the ground, and it wasn't too bad. Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir was the main event, and man, a lot of people are probably going to dislike this, but both of them were talking a lot of trash back and forth, and Brock came out the better fighter in this one. I know some people are going to say, well, he just overpowered him. That's part of UFC. If you got the weight advantage, use it. It's not always just going to be, and this will piss me off on UFC Undisputed. People would say, oh, you're using ground game. That's cheap. Why don't you stand up? Or, man, you really like to slam or take me down a lot. Why don't you stand up and stuff? It's like, if you're good at one thing, that's what you utilize. And Brock Lesnar was better at the ground on this one, and he ended up TKOing Mir. And, man, Mir's face was fucked up afterwards. If you can, go to UFC.com. Let's see. That's way too much stuff. I'm going to link it in the sidebar. You might have to download another thing to watch it. This is after the fight, the post-fight interviews. Man, Mir's face is all fucked up. But Brock Lesnar won by TKO in the second round. Afterwards, he flipped off the fans who were booing. And a lot of people probably say, well, that's disrespectful and all this. Well, a lot of people were giving Brock Lesnar shit, saying he's nothing but a WWE wrestler. He's a fake fighter. And he really proved it in this fight that he can kick ass. I'm not entirely sure, but I think Frank Mir was in his hometown. I'm pretty new to UFC and stuff. But I think that's one reason why Lesnar was getting booed, because their hometown hero lost. And, well, I don't know. It was a good fight. And I think Brock Lesnar's actions afterward were justifiable, which he went up to Frank Mir and said, yeah, now you can talk all the shit that you want to. Which, Frank Mir got his ass kicked. I'm not saying that Frank Mir sucks, but don't trash talk if you can't back it up. I hope they have another rematch down the line again. People are already saying that. What was that? They're getting the KOTOR. Who was that? The next KOTOR and Nogueira fight. Yeah, that's KOTOR and Nogueira. I think they said that Lesnar gets the winner out of that, so I can't wait for that. That's gonna be good. Hopefully Lesnar and Nogueira. That'd be a badass fight. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm gonna link to the UFC thing over on the sidebar, so check that out if you want to. And this has been Invisible Kid fading out. What did I say? This has been. This has been Invisible Kid, and Invisible Kid is fading out. That sounds better, goddamn.